I'm Marilee Caruso. It's Wednesday, April 13th. Today, facing pushback.
And what is being proposed for this community is not harm reduction. It's drug enablement.
How community members are reacting to a proposed supervised consumption site in Winnipeg's Point Douglas neighborhood. Also today, rising waters. Why some areas in Thompson are underwater today. Plus, eyes to the sky. How the Canadian Armed Forces is honoring the long service of one of its aircrafts. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. A supervised consumption site proposed for Winnipeg's Point Douglas neighborhood is facing some pushback tonight following a tense community meeting. CTV's John Hendricks was at that meeting and joins me now to talk more about what unfolded. So, John, what were some of the concerns you heard?
Well, Marilee, residents wanted to know why officials have selected their community for the site and how they will ultimately be affected once it opens. Now, the meeting was organized by the community itself. It was held at a restaurant and banquet hall, which is across the street from the proposed consumption site at 366 Henry Avenue. Residents listened to a panel of officials, including Councillor Sherry Rowlands, Winnipeg Police Chief Gene Bowers, Tory MP Dan Mazur, and more. The consumption site was initially announced by the NDP government in 2024 and would be operated by the Aboriginal Health and Wellness Centre of Winnipeg. It's aimed at addressing the growing number of overdose deaths in Winnipeg and trying to reduce the amount of people using drugs in public. Now, the site won't be providing drugs, but it would offer drug testing and a space to use, specifically injection drugs, with staff on hand. There will also be a proposed rapid access addiction medicine clinic that would also be at the facility. But critics of the site are raising concerns.
And what is being proposed for this community is not harm reduction. It's drug enablement. Ontario, Alberta, and Saskatchewan are shutting these sites down because the evidence is telling them to. And the Manitoba and Canadian government should take note. These sites are magnets for drugs and disorder.
What people are voted for this, you know, the people who voted for NDP, but like, did they know about this kind of thing? And why aren't we giving them more rehabs or detox centers for the people?
Now, the NDP government originally planned to open the site at a different location, but they abandoned the plan after area residents complained it was too close to a school and homes.
So, John, what are police saying about this planned site?
You know, Marilee, Chief Bowers said that while it's not his place to voice an opinion on the site, it's also important to hear residents' safety concerns. He painted a bleak picture of the city's ongoing addictions and overdose crisis, saying it's an issue across the country. Meantime, the Aboriginal Health and Wellness Centre of Winnipeg CEO Monica Sear echoed a similar sentiment, saying the drug crisis here is immense, but said a supervised consumption site won't be the sole solution and that more detox and treatment is needed. She's also calling for unity from all parties, saying, quote, "What we don't need is where we are so busy bickering with each other that we're not all hands on deck." And this is an all hands on deck situation. Now, CTV News reached out to the province to find out a timeline for when this site could open. We have not yet heard back.
All right, thanks for this, John. Parts of Thompson are underwater tonight as the city's drain system struggles to keep up with the rapid spring melt. Public Works crews in Thompson are working extra hours trying to clear catch basins, flush storm drainage lines, and remove grates to help get all the water moving. Drivers are being warned to use caution around flooded areas such as Cree Road between Deerwood Drive and Juniper Drive. Pedestrians and cyclists are also advised to be wary of puddles as the depth may catch you off guard. Mounties are investigating after human remains were found in a small community in the Interlake. Officers were sent to the town of Riverton yesterday and confirmed human remains were found on a property. They haven't yet been identified. A spokesperson was unable to elaborate on what type of property or its location, saying more details will be made available soon. Riverton is located near the northwest shore of Lake Winnipeg's South Basin, about 40 kilometers north of Gimli. Local Jewish communities will benefit from upgrades to a federal program meant to improve safety and security. That's according to the head of the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs.
A charitable organization that is focused on social programs or education programs that doesn't have to dedicate its time and resources to security considerations. A school shouldn't have to become an expert in security. It should be focused on educating children. And that's the fundamental principle that underlines this.
That's Noah Shack discussing a $75 million boost to Ottawa's Canada Community Security Program. The fund offers 70% of costs, up to $1.5 million, to groups at risk of hate-motivated crimes to offset the cost of security equipment, security services, or training. In its spring economic update, the federal government also updated the application requirements in hopes of making the process more efficient.
So this is a fundamental first step to protect facilities, but we need to move forward in partnership with government to address the root causes of what's fueling this radicalization, the harassment, hate, and intimidation that has really skyrocketed over the last 3 years.
The program is accepting applications now. There's no deadline to apply, but it's done on a first-come, first-served basis. You can find out more by visiting publicsafety.gc.ca. The Canadian Armed Forces are honoring the long service of one of its aircraft. Around 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, a Hercules and 2 fighter jets will conduct a flyby of 1 Canadian Air Division headquarters at 17 Winnipeg. It's to mark the end of the CC-130H's air-to-air refueling mission. The refueling operation ceased last month, but the Hercules will continue to help in search and rescue and transport missions. All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a look at your sunny Skywatch forecast. How warm is it out there right now, Colleen? It's beautiful.
Yeah, mid-20s across much of southern Manitoba. It's been sunny all day long. The winds have been nice and light. The temperatures have been soaring. This has been the first really beautiful day all day long that we've had in months and months and months. If only it would stay this way right through to the end of the long weekend. Alas, it will not. And while we're basking in the sunshine here, there are other parts of Manitoba that are under a winter storm warning tonight. I will show you why coming up and a look ahead to that May long weekend forecast coming up. But for now, let's take a look through the CTV Live Eye. It's brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. In Winnipeg right now, it is a beautiful 24 degrees in the sunshine. Winds picking up a bit now out of the south at 17 kilometers an hour with wind gusts up to 30. The pressure is dropping and the humidity is 23%. Out in traffic, a live look at Confusion Corner. Traffic moving steadily in all directions there, but moving well. But one traffic alert to let you know about if Marion is part of your commute. There is construction along Marion from Archibald to Panet. 1 lane in each direction only will be available right until August 10th.
More Canadians go into isolation because of hantavirus. What steps the government is taking to ensure the virus doesn't spread any further. There's a big deal in Canadian mining, a merger that will create an $18.5 billion company. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has the details.
Equinox Gold is buying Orla Mining in a cash and stock deal worth just over $5 billion U.S. Combined, the new entity would be the second largest Canadian gold producer, with 6 mines across Canada, the U.S., Nicaragua, and Mexico. Together, they would produce more than 1 million ounces of gold a year. But the CEO of Equinox says he aims to double output. Shareholders will vote on the deal in July. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up a fraction to 72.96. West Texas Intermediate down over $1 to 101.02. Western Canadian Select up over $3 to 81.43. And the TSX lost 249 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
A 24-year-old man is facing a lengthy list of drug and weapon-related charges tonight following a bust at a Central Park apartment. Winnipeg police began investigating drug trafficking in the area earlier this month. Last week, officers searched an apartment on Cumberland Avenue. They found 21 loaded restricted handguns, a silencer, a mixture of ammunition, 27 grams of cocaine, and around $25,000 in cash. The man faces dozens of weapons and drug charges. He was detained in custody. The city is adjusting its target for new home construction thanks to a funding boost from Ottawa. The city has secured an additional $4 million through the Housing Accelerator Fund as a result of its exceeding its two-year target for new homes. At the beginning of December, Winnipeg recorded more than 9,700 new housing units, which means it cleared its goal by 114%. It's now upping its year-end goal by 150 units for a target of more than 14,200. The additional funding is on top of some $30.6 million in annual funding through the program. 16 people in Canada are now isolating with links to hantavirus. Ontario Ministry of Health says those individuals are considered low-risk contacts, meaning they came into contact with one of the high-risk people. There is also 3 high-risk cases in Ontario, people who were exposed to the virus while traveling. They've all been directed to isolate for 45 days. In Alberta and BC, another 6 people are isolating, all of whom remain asymptomatic, according to provincial health officials. The Government of Canada is now implementing temporary measures preventing any passenger or crew member from the cruise ship from boarding a flight to Canada. Some sad news from the sports world. Canadian basketball player Brandon Clark has died at the age of 29. In a statement, the Memphis Grizzlies say they are heartbroken by the tragic loss. Born in Vancouver, Clark was drafted in the first round in 2019 and played his entire 7-year career with Memphis. The NBA's commissioner says Clark was a, quote, beloved teammate who played with passion and grit. In April, Clark was arrested in Arkansas for speeding and possession of a controlled substance. He was released on bond a day later. A cause of death has not been revealed. And the league is also mourning the loss of another player. Jason Collins, the NBA's first openly gay player, has died. His family made the announcement yesterday, adding Collins died after an 8-month battle with an aggressive brain tumor. Collins was 47 at the time of his death. He spent 13 years in the NBA, playing for 6 different franchises. A UNESCO-listed heritage site is undergoing restoration work in Iraq. A temple in the ancient city of Ur is deteriorating because of erosion linked to climate change. Wind, rainfall, and humidity are all causing issues. So Iraq's government is getting to work to preserve the site. It dates back about 4,000 years and is one of the best preserved examples of ancient Middle East architecture.
Now, Amy, Super Mario Brothers is this cute little Italian bear.
An American drag queen is ready to bring the drama to Winnipeg. We've got all the details coming up after the break. Colleen Brady is back now for Spotlight. An American drag queen and comedian is coming to Winnipeg this fall.
That's right. Bob the Drag Queen's Now Clap the Comedy Tour will hit the Club Region Event Center stage on October 3rd.
The difference between Super Mario Brothers and Mortal Kombat, night and day.
His unabashed confidence helped him win the title of America's Next Drag Superstar on Season 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Tickets start at $49 plus fees. They go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster.
A World War II era plane is taking flight this weekend in Brandon.
That's right. The Commonwealth Air Training Plan Museum is launching its flying season with the debut of a Boeing Stearman Cadet. It's an original 1941 Allied training aircraft, and visitors will have the opportunity to step into its iconic open cockpit. Now, if going up in the air isn't quite your thing, that's all right. You can also watch flying operations on an active airfield apron. For more information, head to the museum's website.
Well, get ready to roll out the red carpet because a familiar face is returning to host the Oscars.
He sure is. Conan O'Brien is making a comeback next year.
We're all set? Here we go.
The Emmy-winning talk show host is going to host the movie awards ceremony for his third time at the 2027 edition. And much of the behind-the-scenes workers will also be returning, including the executive producer for their fourth stint. The 99th Academy Awards will be held on March 14th, 2027.
Harrison Ford spread some wisdom this week at Arizona State University.
He did. The Hollywood icon received an honorary doctorate from ASU for his work in film and global conservation.
Your generation has far more power than you may realize. And if you harness that power, if you find your leadership, your issues, your voice, the world will not be able to ignore you. You will have to be accommodated. Believe me, I know that's true.
That's a big graduating class there. Now, he urged graduates to embrace leadership, social justice, and environmental responsibility. He spoke about his journey into acting through theater class and encouraged the graduates to discover their own paths.
Some good messages there. All right, here's to a group of celebrities now that you don't see together every day.
No, Strikeforce 5 had a reunion on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Please welcome back to The Late Show, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, John Oliver, and Jimmy Fallon.
Now, the group is made up of 5 late-night hosts, as you heard there: Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver. Strikeforce 5 is the name of the podcast they started during the writer's strike. While on the couch, the group shared their thoughts on The Late Show being canceled and the future of late-night TV. Colbert's last show is May 21st.
Coming up.
Great to see them all together like that, though.
Yeah. All right, thanks for this, Colleen.
You're welcome. Your primetime lineup starts with MasterChef at 7. Following at 8 is The Floor. Celebrity Jeopardy is on at night. It's on at night and at 9. How about that? It's all right here tonight on CTV. A live look. Sunny out there at St. Mary's, just coming off the Norwood Bridge or heading onto it, depending if you're heading north or southbound. Looks like traffic is pretty heavy. Peak of the rush right now, 24 degrees, winds picking up out of the south. I'll have a look at the forecast for the rest of the week, including that winter storm warning and the May long weekend forecast.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&Teak Spa Salon.
Miners in Myanmar have discovered a truly enormous ruby. Check this out. It's thought to be the second largest by weight ever found in the country. It weighs 4.8 pounds and is 11,000 carats. Myanmar produces about 90% of the world's rubies.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Well, very warm temperatures here in the south. The sun is shining. The winds are starting to pick up. Quite dry, though, particularly out in the southwest today. But all things considered, certainly the nicest day we have seen here in southern Manitoba in many months. It was beautiful at the beginning of last week here in Winnipeg on Sunday morning for a few hours. But this whole day has been so nice here in the city and across much of the south. Northwestern Ontario, ditto, I would say, by the looks of the radar. Not a cloud in sight, at least here. Lots of sunshine, winds coming out of the north. Not too strong, although it looks like they might be picking up a bit as well. Having said all of that, I also have to tell you about a winter storm warning that is in effect, not for southern Manitoba, but for parts of the north. I'll show you the most northern areas in Manitoba: Brochet to Dooley Lake, Churchill, and Shamattawa, all under that yellow warning for an approaching winter storm. This will begin with freezing rain turning to snow starting tomorrow. I'll get to that in just a moment, but back to those warm temperatures. Check this out: 27 degrees in Brandon, Dauphin, and Swan River. Other areas nearby, not too far off that. Winnipeg and Steinbach, 24 degrees here. In the north, not quite as warm, but still quite warm. 2021 for Flin Flon and the Pas. Now, Thompson, as we were talking about earlier, parts of the city underwater are dealing with that fast spring melt, particularly exacerbated by temperatures like these. The warning does not extend as far south as Thompson, but as much as Thompson doesn't need any more precipitation, it's going to get it with this approaching system. In fact, lots of other areas not under the warned under the warning is going to receive that precipitation, just not as much as the most northerly areas. So for the time being, pretty nice weather conditions overnight here in the south, approaching clouds or encroaching clouds really, and then we've got the freezing rain and the showers that start first early Thursday morning in that most northern area that's under that warning. We could see as much as 5 millimeters of freezing rain developing in those areas before it flips over to snow later on tomorrow night. Several centimeters is possible there, but this is what I'm talking about. Those areas that are not strictly under a weather warning are going to get quite a soaking, and we might hear too in the Red River Valley. It's certainly a possibility we could see showers, maybe even a thunderstorm. But look at this, by late tomorrow night, we have snow for the northernmost part of the province. A little further south, we've got the freezing rain, and then the rest of northern Manitoba into central areas and right into parts of the southwest, contending with rain as this system winds its way through. That will continue into Friday morning and into the afternoon as well. You can see those areas shifting slightly further south that will be dealing with those various forms of precipitation. For tonight, no precipitation here in Winnipeg, mostly clear, 13 degrees, winds picking up out of the south at 30, gusting to 50. But look at these strong winds tomorrow. Wind gusts up to 70 are possible, 24 under a mix of sun and cloud, but with a very good possibility of showers with a thunderstorm risk. Friday looking better, 20 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud, and then much cooler for the long weekend. Saturday, mix of sun and cloud, 11, and then rain looks likely Sunday, Victoria Day Monday, and even on Tuesday with those temperatures just getting to double digits. Our first weather photo takes us out along the Bird River. That shot is from Carl. That water looks like it's moving very quickly. And this next photo is great. This is from Diane looking at the sunset on the farm at Notre-Dame-de-Lourdes. And that great eye patch on that cow. Send us your weather photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Skywatch Weather Pick of the Day brought to you by Provivo, Winnipeg's first and only longevity medicine clinic. Redefining health, performance, and aesthetics. Provivo.com.
The World Cup is right around the corner, and a Brazil mega fan is spreading his love for his nation's soccer team far and wide.
É campeão Brasil! É campeão!
He's made more than 3,000 replicas of the World Cup trophy in his workshop in Rio. He took inspiration from Brazil's big win in 1994. Watching his club lift the trophy made him wish he had one of his own. Luckily, he had the skills to make some, and now he exports them to 17 countries across the Americas and Europe. Talk about going for the gold.
That's fun. Now he has many.
Now you can have your own.
Trophies. Yeah.
All right. That does it for us this hour. We're back at 6 with more local news. Hope to see you then.